I'm Jim Price, and the Jim Price Show Daily Update. I do appreciate you guys all tuning in. It is right side Betty did not make it today. Was not sure what was going on there, but I did send the invitation out. So anyway, a couple different things are going on in the world around us. Obviously, we've got a lot of stuff with the continued push for the agenda of smallpox, the Mexican beer flu, the election issues, Mike Lindell's Supreme Court case filing, the stuff that Maria Zach gave us last week. Guys, all of this stuff in real time is right in front of our face. And we can see the fact, hey, David, good to see you. We can see the fact that this stuff is actually falling apart for them, and it's coming apart quickly, but they're still working their tail off, and almost they're working in double time. Maybe that's why we're seeing that happen. Hey, John Kennedy, good to see you, sir. Alex King, good to see you. Let's see, and then I said hi to Danny. Bummer, we love Betty. Yeah, sorry about that, Alex. So, I guess that's one of the things. I guess why we're seeing so many things move in such a rapid pace is because they are failing to do what it is that they're supposed to do. See, if you trickle this along, we would eventually we wouldn't even understood what the difference between communism and white paint on the wall. We wouldn't know anything. We just accepted this is the world we live in. But they screwed up. Well, they screwed up because we got in the way, right? They over-pursued. They showed their hand. They made themselves look obvious. And so in reality, we have to think of it this way. We have to think about, okay, why is it we're seeing these things this way? Because we've changed how we look at stuff, right? We've changed in the angle of things. Lana K, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. So this is the whole thing, right? We've got all these things going on, all these different facets, all this different weird stuff going on, and we're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I think the problem is that we are two things. One, we are expecting everything to happen in a minute, which we know it won't, but everything's happening in a minute, and so it is. It's very contradictory of itself, right? But in reality, that's what we're up against. We have a situation where we can see things moving so fast, but we can also see that they're not moving fast enough. And that's a dichotomy, right? That's two different directions. That's two different ends of the spectrum, whatever you want to call it, whatever analogy you want to use. So how do we fix that? How do we get ourselves, there's a fine line between doing what you got to do to make sure you're ready and being completely selfish. And so how do you balance that? How do you balance that magic there, right? And I guess that's for us is the part that I want to always talk about, making sure that we're going to be the right people at the right time. That we make sure that we are doing things when we should be doing things, being the right people. All those things I talk about constantly, right? But always thinking of others and what we could do for them and those kind of things. And I just wonder, are we really ready? When it comes time that things are the toughest, when things are the fastest, things are the worst, things are the slowest, are we going to be ready to be the right people? Are we going to be the right testimony? Are we going to be the right leaders that we need to be? And that's the sad part of this, is that we've been given examples of what a leader is in such twisted perspective that when we want to talk about leadership and we want to talk about who needs to be in charge, when we talk about what's good and bad, we really don't have a good recollection of it, right? So then that means we have to redefine what we consider be our normal. But is our normal not normal? So yeah, the idea is to question everything, right? And that's what the anarchists back in the 80s, used to talk about. Oh, question authority, anti-government. Alkaline water. Gotta love it. But in reality, we all should have been on that train. But then the message was wrong, right? Wasn't it back then? The message was wrong that these anarchists, they were talking about, we were saying create lawlessness, meaning that nothing's illegal. So then we went to the other extreme that we thought we could actually law into law morality. Hey, Carrie Heisman, good to see you. We could law humanity into morality. If we put enough laws out there, if we put enough, guidelines and rules and regulations and regulatory this and blah 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 that, if we do enough of that, then we'll fix it, right? We'll make the world a moral place. But we know that it doesn't work that way. So we had some people saying nothing, and then we're saying some people saying everything. So now we find ourselves, it's 2022, and here in a minute. We're a year and so many days past another election. Past the last one that we saw obviously was stolen. Past the 2018 election that we saw some things we didn't like. We thought something was irregular. And then in 2016, there was red flags and things that didn't seem to make sense. And why was it Hillary was so prepared to be president at any cost? So no worry about this or that. Danny Fitzgerald says, you actually think Biden is good? No, not in 100 years. I don't know if that was aimed towards me. So I lost where I was at because that comment kind of threw me off. I was trying to figure out what it was I said. The world we live in and the things that are going on in it, we know that we have been blind. Oh, it was the 2016 election that we saw some things that maybe we need to go back to, we need to look at. And then we find out from Dr. Frank that everything's been completely botched, completely screwed up, completely stolen forever. So what do we do? That's the whole thing, right? Let me ask you a question, and this is something I've been thinking about for a while. I've made a statement. Let me see if you guys follow me on this. I've made this statement that if we all stand up, this is over. That if we no longer prescribe to their things, we move on. They no longer have power. What if the will of the people is that we want change and we make that change ourselves? And in that will is enough. That we elected somebody and that's who we expect to represent us as our representative. Because in our Bill of Rights and our Constitution of our states, we actually are allowed to replace our government at any time with anything we see fit. I mean, it's very, very, very cleanly written. Let me see if I can find it real quick here so I can read it verbatim. Let's see, bear arms. Big bear arms are all hairy and got claws in the end. They're bear arms. Let's see. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find it right now, am I? Nope, I can't find it. All right, well, you're going to take my word for it. I think it's in there, and it's written in that way. It's very close to what I was saying, so I'm not off. I just can't quote it exact. So anyway, the point is that, guys, we need to be looking at ourselves. And we got to look at our level of irritation level that we're willing to take, what it is we want things to look like. I mean, we need to do something different. Okay? And if you no longer want somebody to be your president, and you think someone else is your president because your votes would have represented that if handled accurately. What's that say? Okay, so if you believe that they are, you believe someone else is. These, all this I'm saying, and you change your focus and you say this person is my president, you move there. What's going to stop you, or what's going to stop that from actually happening? Because they went in blindly with literally zero accountability, zero reflection on legalities. They went and just put the person they wanted to in as president because they, quote unquote, had the process. They had the people in place to perpetuate the lie. No different than in 1913 when we did not ratify the federal income tax, and that we had a Secretary of State at the time make an announcement, do a press conference, make the announcement that it goes out across the wire that we had passed the federal income tax. It was never ratified. So how is it that we've given in to trillions and trillions of dollars? I'm sure it has been trillions of dollars. How is it we've given in trillions of dollars to our government through federal fines, levies, taxes? I mean, all the different stuff. How is it that we have given over all these zeros wildly for 100 years or more to federal income tax, and yet it was never ratified? Guys, that shows you the power of speech, right? The power of the word, that when people want to mislead and they want to misguide, it can be done. And it is being done. It has been done. You are living proof of it. That inability for you to get away from debt, to get away from certain things, it's real. So how do we undo the lie? How do we undo that? How do we undo what we know is a lie about the Corporation of America? How do we undo the lie about the fiat currency debt? How do we undo the lie about incarceration? How do we undo the lie about all the laws that we've incurred that should never be legal, even though they've been constitutionally whatever? How do we undo the lie that we're living in at this very moment, that we're talking about right now? I mean, we're talking about who is our leader? Who did we vote to represent us? Who did we vote for? I mean, seriously, think about it in the bottom of your heart. I mean, who did you vote for? What does it look like? Does it look like what you're up against now? I appreciate strategy. I appreciate their moxie and what they want to do and how they want to do that. I get that. I get it. I'm with them. I understand. But at the same time, I don't understand why you would aim the cannons for the bottom of the boat that you're riding on. I mean, the problem is not everybody gets to be captain of the ship. Not everybody gets to be a lord and duchess. Nobody. I mean, not everybody gets to be royalty. So, what makes you believe that your bloodline is strong enough, that your friendship is strong enough, that your charisma, your whatever, is strong enough? What makes you think that? What makes you think that you're enough? That your complicit behavior, your can-do attitude, what if you sold yourself away to destroy everyone else thinking you would be saved, but in reality you just get double-crossed, just like the Buffalo guy at the Capitol building? They got him. They double-crossed him. That right there should wake up a lot of these deep staters to understand that maybe they should not be running in this direction. That maybe it's not good. That free men are really the answer. See, that's the problem we have, is that we've got some things going on in the world around us, but how do we make that answer work, right? But we got people that are supposedly leaders that we know are rhinos. And they have been leaders in some areas, but in other areas, they'll completely give in. So this is the world we're living in, right? Where we don't call men men and women women. We don't allow men to be masculine. We want them emasculated. Women can no longer be women. They have to be macho and tough and, be able to use a hammer and drive a car, or not drive a car, but like work on a car and do all. I mean, men want to take a leak in the women's bathroom. Women trying to dress like men. I mean, I do not understand how it is that this is the logic we work within. When it is literally, it is opposite, and it works against us on the inside, and we challenge all these things saying, oh, we need to be progressive. Progressive to what? What are we progressing to? If we no longer have genders, what did that progression come? We weren't even really good at being men and women. Now we're going to be fluid about it? We weren't really killing it as a human species here between men and women and having that perfected, but now we're going to have this gender fluidity thing going on where we could just turn into an attack helicopter today, and you must respect my authority that I'm an attack helicopter and you got to bend your will to my attack helicopterisms. So then we're ruling by emotion. We're not being rational. We're not thinking. We're not actually making sure that everybody has the right knowledge base, right? The right tools. And so the problem is then when things start coming apart because we haven't trained them, we haven't showed them, we haven't allowed them to have an understanding of the world around them, and then they start. I watched a person today ask his daughter, who looked like 3 or 4 years old, where do you want to sit? I'm like, Dad, you're the dad. Sit down. She'll sit next to you. It's pretty easy. Why is a 3-year-old defaulting to your decision-making skill? Like, you're defaulting yeah, honey, I know you're 3 years of age, all your wisdom wrapped up into this little 3 years of experience. Man, you tell us where we're going to sit. And I watched this. I watched this with family members that were doing this. Oh, where do you want to eat? Where do you want to eat? You want to eat nuggies tonight? You want to eat? I'm like, my God, aren't you you're the parent? You're the parent. What are you asking a child for? You're paying for it, right? Like, why does this child's opinion matter? Seriously. They don't know. You're asking them something that really is above their pay grade, and it stresses them out, but you don't realize that. Oh, no, I'm letting them have their choice. That's what they want. That's what makes them better. If I ask little Dirt here what they want for dinner and they tell us, then they're going to eat all their food because Dirt knows what they want to eat, and then when we get there, then we figure out that Dirt didn't want anything. I want to go to Church's Chicken. I want to go to Popeyes. I want to go to KFC. So you take them and they're like, I want a hamburger. What? They don't know. They really don't, guys. And we wonder how we get here. We're letting 3-year-olds make decisions for us, and it's backwards land, right? Oh, we're ruling by emotion. I am going to be an attack helicopter today because I feel like it. Man, you're not even good at being a human. You haven't mastered being your gender yet. You haven't mastered putting on, your shoes correctly. You haven't mastered getting dressed for the day. But here we are. We're running around wondering not we should listen to the potato in chief and his restriction on ammunition. We run around and act like we need to make sure that we, pay attention that, Kamala got to be president for 2 hours or an hour and a half the other day. And, it was the greatest moment for all of womanhood. Women, we did it. Yay. Because of what's between your legs, it makes you different and better, because you're such a victim, you're better than everybody else. Your victimhood is so great, you get to be... What? Why does victimhood make you great? Why? Why does it make you great? Why does you being a victim make you great? What are you all fired up about, huh? I'm not playing with... Come here. So the idea that we have all this going on around us and we're seeing all these things, but yet a victim gets to be the better of? See, I don't get that. So if I'm let's see, a Native American female, lesbian, disabled vet, mentally unbalanced. I mean, I got all these victimhoods I get to be that makes me better than somebody who actually is using their talents or their abilities. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just wonder. I just wonder if we forgot that all we got to do is stand up to this shit. That's it. That's it. Stand up. Stand up. That's it. You're done. Full stop. Just stand up. If you just stand up to this stuff, what would it really look like? If you said enough is enough, I'm done. No. I really believe that we're missing the answers here. I mean, and I think they're fairly simple. When the people can't figure out which side of a law they want to be on because they want to decide that, ammunition is the problem or barrel length. Do you guys realize that barrel length is only an issue because people who want to control guns fell for that? You guys realize that, right? That people who want to try to regulate certain guns or certain rifles or whatever it was, that they are like, oh yeah, you could have a 16.5-inch barrel on that pistol. This is how much we've played into the stupidity when there's nothing in our Second Amendment that talks about age, criminal record, barrel length, how many of the pews you can have in your pocket or on your belt or your bandolier or in your magazine. The freedom fries don't matter. But yet, whether it's a pistol or whether it's a rifle, whether it's an automatic. I mean, guys, I've shot weapons before. I've used them, not in violence, but I've been to the firing range. I've been hunting. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you think that your finger only moves at like 30 clicks a minute, have you ever been to a paintball range? I mean, that's an aerosol soybean ball being thrown pretty fast. And those things will come out of the barrel so fast you can't see them one right after the other. But you think that somehow not having a fully automatic, meaning you pull the trigger and it dumps all the seeds out of the end of it, you think that somehow that making the person go is going to slow the decision making down? You think that the automatic part makes it specialer? See, again, this is what we fight over the wrong things. We're going down the wrong path. We're looking for all the wrong answers. But we can't stand up to that because, well, by gosh, if we stand up to that, then we're just or we're a pro-gun nut, we're an anti-gun nut, we're anti-abortion, we're pro-abortion, we're this. Guys, we don't even realize that Roe versus Wade is still only a privacy issue. That's it. Roe versus Wade was a privacy issue. We're all running around talking about Roe versus Wade legalizing abortion. And again, that's wrong information. Wrong information. Oh, well, do we run to it? Yeah, we do. Oh, that's pro-abortion. Oh, yeah. Roe versus Wade, that's all pro-abortion. Just like the Civil War is about racism, right? No, it was about individual state rights. 1% of our population is the only 1% of our population ever owned slaves, guys. 1% of our population ever owned slaves. Ever. But yet, we're running around as an entire nation talking about reparations when reparations were already paid in 1870s. We didn't want to pay attention to that, right? We don't want to pay attention to how Grant had to go get a loan from the Bank of London which is not part of England and has never been part of England, just like the Vatican is not part of its country either. I mean, this is like Washington, D.C. is not part of our country. Guys, all these answers are right in front of us, and I feel like I'm yelling at people, trying to get them to realize that the fiat currency you're playing with, all this other stuff doesn't make sense, and then you run around with your emotions, and then you get yourself wrapped around the wheel on the wrong stuff when you're on the same damn team. Oh no, it's barrel length. Oh no, it's magazine. Oh no, it's abortion rights. And here we are. I am honestly, guys. There was a time when I was doing this show a couple years ago. That first year, the trolls, because my popularity was going out crazy. I wasn't being shadow banned like I am now. And it was tough listening to it. But then I didn't know it was trolls. I didn't know the trolls were actually bots, and I didn't realize that these were just people that were doing this professionally, and that they were going in, they were attacking me, and I didn't know that, so I had to learn that, right? But I'm telling you right now, I think we're far more unified than we realize. I do not run into people that do not think exactly like I do. Well, that's because you only run in certain groups, Jim. You're just a... No. Guys, I go to publicly advertised events that anybody can show up to. And yet, I'm just not seeing the pushback. Now, I've seen the paid actors in DC. I saw them. I got that. I get the paid actors. I understand that. But what I'm trying to point out to you guys is I'm wondering is they keep telling us that there's, 50 million people that believe that, the potato in chief is slaying it. But the problem is I don't think it's even a tenth of that. I don't think there's 5 million people in this country that actually do. I think there's a lot of people living in fear that there are a lot of more people out there that think they should be wearing masks, so they wear masks because they're non-confrontational people.